Recently, Mumu Singapore hosted an offline gathering event where me and my friends were invited to join. So, of course, I had to seize the opportunity to ask for non-financial advice from them. What is the best financial decision we have made?
I think buying gold at a young age. So I got it when it was around $600 to $700 an ounce. And today it's around 2,500. So I got in early. That's one of my earliest investments. Okay. And now more into stocks, but then I think gold gave me a good start.
I think usually the people we think of an answer like, oh, what job do you do? What investment do you make? I'm leaning more towards like spouse. Although spouse is not a financial decision, but I think many times if you marry wrongly, there's a lot of hurdles, a lot of baggage, a lot of distraction. Right. So I think family comes first, spouse 100%. It smoothens the things, it gives me the confidence to try to achieve things.
Yeah, a supportive spouse is very important.
Correct.
Best financial decision was to choose my wife properly. Okay, because you see the person you spend the rest of your life with will make or break, because you can be the most successful person, the richest person, but if you file for divorce and then things don't go out well, it will ruin your entire future.
Marrying my husband, because your spouse is the most important financial decision.
How much you spend marrying him?
Oh, it's on my blog. I think our wedding was $88 per guest.
Got make back money or not?
I think we made back maybe about, say, from the ang paos, right? About maybe 60-70%. But I think the good thing is that we didn't overspend.
It's really just by starting to invest when it was about 10 years ago. So even though it was a very roller coaster ride, like ups and down, but eventually I found suitable investing strategy that suits my personality and get consistency from that.
I would say to start things on my own. First it was my tuition business, which got me my first pot of gold to buy my place. And then the next would be to start my online content creation, which allows me to earn more money than I think someone of my qualifications will earn.
How much you are making now?
It's a comfortable amount. It's 5-figure right? Like most influencers now, 5 figures, I would say that's around how much we earn if you are established enough. The range will be same as Kelvin, 10 to 30k, as vague as possible, without any specific numbers, because you don't want to give me a specific number.
Speaking of decision making, here are 3 stock tools by Mumu to help you guide your trading decisions. The first tool helps you to find potential buying and selling points for stocks. On Mumu, there's a feature called Market Position Overview that can help you identify potential supports and resistance levels. To use this tool, open up the stock that you are interested in, then scroll all the way down till you find this feature. This lets you see the supports and resistance levels for your stock. Second, given that you should always be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful, Mumu has a money flow tool and technical sentiment tool to help you gauge the market sentiment of a stock. And lastly, while most people commonly use limit orders in their trades, Mumu provides other powerful order types to improve your trades, such as stop limit orders and trailing stop limit orders. For example, trailing stop limit orders can help you lock in profits and limit losses as stock prices fluctuate. This lets you save time and reduce market monitoring. You can also explore more useful tools on Mumu, like free time codes, up to 60 levels of market depth, company valuation analysis, analyst ratings, and more. New users who sign up to Mumu Singapore will get to earn up to $2,266 worth of welcome rewards when you fulfill the terms and conditions, as well as enjoy 0 commission for US, Hong Kong and Singapore stock trading and 0 commission trades on US options every month for up to 100 contracts. What is your biggest tip to saving a lot of money?
I think I did this recently in my videos as well, was that to look at all the things that you actually spend money on first, and then you start saving on the things that you spend the most, like the categories that you can see that they are the most on. Then that way, I think I'm a very lazy person, so I go for the most efficient approach. Whatever that I spend the most, if I can cut down something from that, then I save the most amount of money. Rather than Graham Stephan, they like to save like $5 coffee, that kind of thing. I think no need lah. Just think about where you spend the most amount of money and then save from there on.
I think you have to pay your bills first. You need to set a very strict budget with yourself and maybe separate into 2 accounts, right? Once you get your paycheck, immediately throw in maybe 40-50%, whatever you want to allocate for investments. After that, then it's your spending money where you can have fun with it now. But like in no circumstance should you ever touch your investment money unless you really want to need it for something else.
Basically, pay yourself first lah.
Yeah, exactly.
Saving component is easier when the income is good enough. Because at the bare minimum, we all have core expenses, correct? So to save well, you need to look for income. So the starting game is always income challenge. Fix the income challenge, then along with don't inflate expenses. So I think income is the first thing to tackle. Then don't inflate lifestyle, then you should be able to save a very good percentage.
The biggest tip to saving a lot of money is don't spend. But I know a lot of people are going to show already, how can don't spend? Now the problem is you can spend on alternatives, right? You don't need to go for the best for everything, right? There are some things that you cannot compromise. Okay, you can spend a big budget on that. But there are some things that you can maybe let go of. You can choose cheaper alternatives, then go for it.
Budget aggressively and increase your earning ability. Cut down on things that you don't like. And I share with you a very nice rule that I use personally. It's called utility cost. So if you want to buy something, you think about how many times you will actually use it. If you use it very often, even if the thing is very expensive, the cost per use actually drops. So it's a worthy buy. But if let's say I want to buy a very pretty dress, which is like, let's say $300, and I'm like, I will only get to use it once a year for a D&D, then it's not worth it because it cost me $300 for that one use. So I won't buy. So I use this utility cost per use concept every single time, and that helps me to budget aggressively to spend only on things that are worth it.
That's a bit like girl math.
No, it's not girl math, it's econs math. Okay, they teach this in economics.
It's to not overspend your income. So let's say if you are making $5,000 per month, you don't want to end up spending most of it, right? That's how you are able to save more. And I think apart from learning to save more, it's also important to learn to create more. Because when you're able to create more, by, for example, having different side hustles, running a channel, building your own business, then you actually have more income. And because you're still managing your expenses, you end up have a lot more saving because your income increase.
Cut down expense, increase income.
Yes.
First of all, you need to reprogram your mind to associate spending with pain and saving with pleasure. Right, for myself, I really enjoy saving money. So when I spend money, I don't feel like I like it very, very much. Yeah, so I think most people are the other way around, right? When they spend, they do retail therapy. Yeah, they feel better. But for me, when I save money, I feel better. And that really helps me save a lot of money.
What is your biggest tip to getting rich quick?
There is no way to get rich quick, even in trading and whatever schemes that you're onto, crypto and lottery. The only way is to get a consistent income and then you invest safely in a broad-based diversified index fund.
Let's say you want to get rich in 5 years. What's the fastest way?
Really is to focus on your career, right? Because a lot of people, I know that you all hate your day job, you hate your current job, but you all don't look elsewhere, like maybe pivot to a new industry or role that can pay you better. And a lot of people, they are afraid of change, because you realize that people who come new to this office, they are getting higher paid than you. And that's because they took the risk to change the job. But you haven't. So execute it.
I would like to say investing, but that's not the usual answer. It has to be business, right? If you ask anyone that has made big amounts, we've seen billionaires, millionaires, 20s in their 20s, it all comes from businesses. So you must have the appetite for it. If you don't have, then the investing route will be the way. Oh, then maybe the other thing is to build wealth quickly, if you join right company stocks, that also gives you equity. Equity ownership. I've seen before, in late 20s, they have accumulated big amounts, 6-figure amounts. So definitely doable. If you join right company, you become a part owner in a very small percentage.
Buy or invent a time turner machine, go back in time and buy Nvidia.
This is like talking bullshit. Okay, let's say if I want to get $1 million in 5 years' time, how will you do it?
Well, you can earn 200k a year. So if your job, go and find a job that pays you 100k, that shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, if it is too difficult, then upgrade yourself so you can command a 100k job. Then have multiple side hustles. If you build, let's say, 3 side hustles earning you 33k each a year, then you can easily hit your 200k a year and hence be a millionaire in 5 years.
Sounds good in theory.
Yeah, it's in theory, but are you willing to do the work to get there? That is always a big question.
Yes.
And then don't get rich quick. It's get rich slowly.
I think the first way is investing. I want to say that, but we also know that investing doesn't just get rich quick so easily unless you are super duper lucky. So that's why I say investing is more for long-term building, for wealth to compound. But if you really want to get money a lot faster, it's really doing your side hustle, running your own business.
I would say that you should do more side hustles, right? Because earning money actually gets you more resources quicker than a successful investment will, right? Because if you have $10,000 and you can double that $10,000, it's actually just, 20,000. But if you get a job that pays you a few thousand a month, that pays you on an ongoing basis, you have more resources for investments.
what is one investment every newbie should check out?
So I say every newbie needs to invest in a globally diversified manner because nobody can stock pick consistently in the long run. Nobody can beat the market in the long run. So all you have to do is you just put aside enough savings towards a globally diversified investment that will get you market return over the long run, and then you just focus on your core competency and earn money from your job.
S&P 500. I think the most no-brainer kind of investment instrument that anybody can get started. You just do dollar cost averaging every single month. It has been given investor like 10% return for the past 50 years, like 50. So look at the US market and just do dollar cost averaging and just keep on doing that. You will become a millionaire in about 25 years time.
I'm so tempted to say the S&P 500 index that tracks that because that will be the easiest. But at the same time, I also think it is overvalued right now because of the CAPE ratio. So I think people should also look at like diversification, maybe the MCSI Global World.
I'm gonna say crypto. Definitely not lah. Actually, if you want to get things started, I'm assuming most people, if you haven't invested before, something very simple like putting into a high interest bank account will be pretty good lah. Like you get good interest. Plus, if you're scared, you can take out all the money anytime you want, so you don't even have to be afraid anymore lah.
I think the long-term investment, I would say the brain dead one is VT, which is the total world stock market. That one, it allows you to basically bypass any thinking you need to do. And if you hold on for long term, I think there's a very good chance you'll make money.
Every newbie should not settle with just savings. In the starting phase, we all like to preach about saving. Then the next part is a newbie will tend to get overly confident and overly speculative. So there is no best instrument. My biggest sharing, in this journey is go slow and steady. So when you make mistakes, you don't KO. You don't get defeated. You don't lose too badly. Okay. The starting phase always takes time to work out. Then let's go with something broad-based. Broad-based and diversified. You can't go wrong. How about just a US equity index if you really want? That would be a likely safe answer.
Can I say it's your own state property first? Because a lot of people haven't even settled their own state property. They look into all these equities, investment and stuff, and then they think that they can be rich like Warren Buffett. But really, at least settle your own state property first, whether you are planning to sell it after 5 years or not. Because at least you have a roof over your head, then you can make financial decisions better for yourself.
What's one financial advice that stuck with you throughout your investing journey?
I think it's to think long term, because when it comes to investing, I think why we want to get started is because we always want to make money fast, right? But exactly because we are so short-term minded or like so impatient, we end up making a lot of mistakes, emotional like losses because of that. So if we think long term, which is also a lesson that I learned from my own bad experience investing because of short term, I end up losing a lot more money. So because of that, I realized that thinking long term and don't need to try to get rich quick, but really about compounding our wealth over time. And you will be well rewarded at the end.
Actually, lately, someone tell me, don't be a slave to money. And that really just woke me up because all my life, I've been chasing over money, over finances, and then I realized that money is a means to an end, right? It's very cliche, but it really is, because when you're on your deathbed, right, nobody would really say, oh, I have this $5 million in my bank. You will actually regret not spending that $5 million in your bank. So earn as much as you need, go and spend it on life experiences. You'll be happier, I think, than just hoarding all your money.
Don't try to get rich quick. Yeah, and invest in things that you can make you sleep properly at night, rather than get things like the highest return like crypto, like then every day cannot sleep, that kind of thing. Like not worth. Yeah.
Don't invest in something that you don't understand. So for example, I don't really understand a lot about options, so I don't really do options. I understand a bit more about precious metals, so I go into that as well. And when it comes to stocks, because I'm not so much of an expert, I don't really do much stock picking. I go for mainly the big indexes, VT, VO.
Okay, yep. Stay within your level of competence.
I've heard this saying before that Mr. Market is very humbling. It's very true. Every time I've lost big on the markets is because I assume that I figured it out already. Right. So keep that in mind. Mr. Market is very humbling. Whenever you tend to get too aggressive, keep that in mind and rein back a bit on that over-optimism or overconfidence. That will save you a lot of heartaches. Yeah, so don't go all in anything. Think a bit deeper first, that you may not know a lot of things.
Never chase for quick gains, because I have done that also, trying to chase for quick gains, quick money, fast money, and in the end got burned lah. Because things that you try to chase, the more you'll run away from you.
Skill issue.
Yeah, maybe lah. I mean, if you're as good as Kelvin, really,
No.
then you can follow him lah. But I tried slow and steady to accumulate wealth over time.
Okay, slow and steady wins the race. Which influencer you like the most?
Of course, I like Kelvin Loves Investing the most. He always does all the street interviews with me, right? He does a lot of humorous videos, and I think I always say he's the pillar of the Finfluencer community in Singapore. So yeah, it is Kelvin.
Which influencer you dislike the most?
It will have to be Kelvin because again, you know, he has a play button and he always howling his play button in front of me. So yeah, I need to chase him and then make sure I keep up with him. Yeah, so I really hate that guy, man.
So Seth, how was meeting other influencers?
We need to crush the competition. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's very nice to meet other colleagues in the space because when you do content creation, it can be a very lonely path, right? You know, a lot of things you want to rant about product providers, right? Yeah, only these people know what we are going through.
Okay, so do check out his videos. He was also asking other influencers how much they earn, that kind of stuff. So yeah, do check it out. Bye!